right, and I have to make this in 2 videos because I got interrupted. So we shall start where we left off. And we were at this problem right here. And so again, that 3 goes into the 9. So 3 goes into 3 once, and 9 goes into 3 3 times. And then let's see if there's anything else. And if you're very neat, you can do it right here. So let me look at that 4. Well, I see that that 4 goes into 8. So I'm going to divide each of those by 4. So 4 goes into 4 once. 8 divided by 4 is 2. And I see something else, but I'm going to just take care of it later, and I'll show you in just a moment what I saw. So 1 times 16 is 16 times 1 is just 16. 3 times 2 is 6. Well, what I see actually is I can reduce this again. Or I can make it into a mixed number and then reduce after. I'll make it into a mixed number. So 16 divided by 6. And that is going to be, is that 3? That's going to be 2 times. And our denominator is 6. 2 times 6 is 12. And what is left over is 4. And then we can reduce that. So this is going to be 2 and 2/3. And I think I'm going to take back what I said. I'm going to say that if there are single digit problems, you may do them here. But if they are not single digit, please move those over to your spiral to do those. So this one is 2 and 2/3. And what you're going to do is you're going to find it. It says shade it. You don't need to. You can just cross it out if you want to. I'll just shade it real fast. But it spells out a word. There is no joke on this one. It's just going to spell out a word. But let's do one more like that. And because I'm doing it with you, we can do it together. So let's go ahead and do this one. So let's look at that 4 and 8. So 4 goes into 4 once. Oh, and look who's here. Oh, who is that? Looks like it is Tommy Turtle. So remember him. Remember who and who has not been in the videos. Okay, goodbye, Tommy Turtle. Woo! And again, he's also 22 years old, born in 1998. All right, so let's go back to this. 4 goes into 4 once. 4 goes into 8 twice. And then 11 doesn't go into anything. 9 doesn't go into anything. But when you end up with 2 great big numbers, you need to stop and say, wait a second. Let me look at that 9. If I broke up that 9 into 3 times 3, does 3 go into any of those? Well, sure it does. 3 actually goes into both of them. I'm going to take the 9 and the 15. So 3 goes into that 9 3 times. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Yeah, I should have done this on another sheet of paper. In fact, I think I'm going to transfer it. We're going to do it again. So that one was 8 times 15. That was 9 times 4 and 11 times 12. So again, I'll do that a little bit neater and a little bit better so you can see that. So again, that 4 went into the 8. 4 into 8 is twice. And then that 9 broke up into 3 times 3. So 3, we can reduce out a 3 on both of those. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5. And then let's see if there's anything else. Oh, there has, okay. So look at what's left over. Oh, look at that 2. That 2 can go into 12. So you can, even though something's reduced, If there's another 2 there, you can reduce that out again. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into that 6 times. So let's see what's left now. So that's 1, 1, that's a 3, 3 times 11. I actually see something else that I can reduce, but I'll just show you what happens when we don't see that. So 3 times 11 is 33. 5 times 6 is 30. All right, do you see that? And then let's take that and make it into a mixed number. 33 divided by 30 is 1. And what's left over, remember, goes in that size 30 carton. 1 times 30 is 30. And what's left over is 3. Well, look at this right here, this 3 over 30. Doesn't 3 go into both of those? Yes. So we can divide both of those by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 30 divided by 3 is 3. So our final answer is 1/3. And again, this is the reason that we cross-reduce. I don't want to have to go 8 times 9 times 11 and get some huge number, and then I'll go 15 times 4 times 12 and get even a bigger number, and then I don't have a clue how to reduce it. So the key is you must learn how to reduce that first. Let's go ahead and put that answer there. So that is 1 1/3. And let's find that. It's somewhere. I may have to find it later because I don't see. Here it is. And so you can either shade that in or just cross it out. Doesn't matter. Just find your answers. Then, so you're going to continue that on all of these. You're going to do the reducing first. Bring these double digits over to your spiral. You're going to do that on these here. And again, the answer bank is down here, so you can check those. You're going to also do that on all of these on the cowboy one. And let me give you an example of what happens on this one. So I'm going to go to the section number 8. Remember, and these you can do all here except for the word problems that we're going to do in a few minutes. So this one is 3/100 of 5. So again, remember the of means multiply. And then 5 goes into both of those. Now sometimes, like this is easy, 15 over 100. I could maybe go straight across and reduce this. This isn't that bad, but I really do want you to learn the technique of reducing. So, because on the quiz when I give it to you, probably on Friday, I'll specifically say, do these multiplication of fractions by reducing first. So 5 goes into 100, 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into 100 20 times. Then, I think that's it. So go straight across. 3 times 1 is 3. 20 times 1 is 20. And find your answer. And here it is. And it's, well, on this one, you're going to have 3 problems. You're going to cross off 3. The one that's left over, you're going to put in the puzzle up at the top under the number 8. So let's finish this one up. So again, this is a multiplication. 5 does go into 10. So 5 goes into 5 once. 5 goes into 10 twice. So let's go straight across and see what's left. 1 times 7 is 7. 6 times 2 is 12. And that can't be reduced anymore, and that is right here. Oh, and this next one's easy. So there's an 8 and there's an 8. Again, it has to be separated by a division. 8 divided by 8. 3 divided by 3. And what do you think that is? Those are 1s. So 1 times 1 is 1. Divided by 1 is 1. So that is this one. So the one that's left over is the n. And you're going to go ahead and put the n up at the top right here. And yes, I do want you to do the puzzle on this one. because there's not that many to do. There's only a few. Alrighty, and then we're going to start going through some of the word problems right now. So let's go ahead and look at, let's see, number 5. And then we're going to go back to the first page because there's some important word problems on that. So it says, Jay found 1/3 of a sheet cake in the refrigerator. He ate 1/2 of it. What fraction of the whole cake did he eat? So I'm going to put a little picture of that for you. So on number 5. So here is a picture. He found 1/3 of a sheet cake in the refrigerator. That's what was in the fridge, out of the whole entire thing. He ate 1/2 of it. So I'm cutting it in half all the way across. And if you look very carefully, it looks like there's, out of that whole original cake, that is, how much did he eat? He ate 1/2 of it. So I bet it's going to be 1 out of the 6. But let's go ahead and see. So he took one, it's going to be, he ate 1/2 of the 1/3. So again, he ate 1/2 of it, which is referring back to the 1/3 cake that he had. So let's see what that is when we multiply. That's 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 3 is 6. So again, he originally had 1/3. He ate 1/2 of that. And so where those cross hatches are, that would be our answer. 1 out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, and you might want to play that back if you didn't get it. We had 1/3 of a cake. He ate 1/2 of that, which leaves this amount right here, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, one piece out of the original 6 pieces. Then on this one, I'm going to do this one. I'm going to leave a couple for you to do. Let's look at this one. What is the width? The width of a photograph is 7/10 of the length. And remember, of normally refers to a multiplication. So if I knew what the length was, I would take 7/10 of that length. Well, let's continue on. It says the length is 5 inches. So therefore, what is the width? So the length, I'm going to substitute with 5. So I'm going to write that in my spiral. So that's on number 10. That is 7/10 of the width, which is 5. So if our width is 5, if our length is 5 and our width is 7/10 of that, because this is less than 1, our width is going to be less than 5. And again, let's get used to, I know I can go straight across, but remember that when you have larger numbers, you have to know this technique. So I'm going to go ahead and divide both of those by 5. And that's going to be a 2. So now going straight across, 7 times 1 is 7. 2 times 1 is 2. And then, again, that's top heavy, so I have to divide that through. 7 divided by 2 is 3. Put that, denominator stays the same. 3 times 2 is 6, and what's left over is 1. So our width is going to be 3.5 inches. And so that should make sense. Again, this was less than 1, so our width is less than the 5. So that's going to be 3.5. And that is this one. So this has 3 choices. You're going to use 2 of them, but we have to do this one because this one's a little bit harder. So this one says, a recipe for 4 dozen cookies calls for 3/4 cup of sugar. How much sugar is needed for 2 dozen cookies. Well, let me write that down. So that is, on the second part, it is 4 dozen need 3/4 cup of sugar. And we want to make a recipe for 2 dozen. So let me ask you something. This is what I need. I need 2 dozen. 2 is how much of 4? Think about it. It's not double. 2 is half of 4. So I need half of this amount. I need half of that 3/4. Oh my goodness. Let me get this out of the way for you. Okay. I need half of that 3/4 recipe. So what does the of mean again? It means times, and there's nothing to reduce. So let's go straight across. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 4 is 4. Oh dear, 2 times 4 is 8. So we need 3/8 of a cup of sugar. And let's see if that answer is there, and it is. So again, put your 3/8, cross that off, and what's left is the T. So where the 10 is, we're going to go up to the top and put the letter T. All right. So you're going to have to do the rest of these. Now I think we got the answer for this one. This was 1/6. So this was 1/6. Cross it off, and you'll have one more to do here. So let's go back. Let's see. So we're going to do a few more word problems, and then I'm going to give you the finalized assignment. So it says, what fraction of a bar went to charity? The king's ship sank with 8 gold bars aboard. The king paid Captain Nemo 4/5 of 1 bar for finding the gold. Then the captain gave 1/2 of his gold to charity. What fraction of the bar went to charity? So I'm going to see if I can draw a picture of that again. So the king gave him 4/5 of 1 bar. So I don't need to worry about anything else except 1 bar. So I've got, on number 19, I have got 1 bar. And the king paid him 4/5 of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in 5 sections. He gave him 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 out of the 5 sections. But the captain then gave 1/2 of it to charity. So I'm going to cut this in half, and then I'm going to kind of cross hatch it like this. And usually these answers are where you see the cross hatching. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think my final answer is going to be 4 out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of the original bar, which comes down to half of that is 2, half of that is 5. But let's look back at what it says again. So I'm going to read a little bit different. The captain gave away 1/2 of his 4/5. Okay, do you agree with that? The captain gave away 1/2 of his amount, and his amount was 4/5. So he gave away 1/2 of 4/5. And again, what does the of mean? The of means times. So in this one, 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 5 is 10. Well, look at right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of the 10 pieces he gave away. So you can see it visually, again where the crosshatch is, and then you can reduce it, which is 2/5. So this one comes to 2/5. And again, find your answer over in the mixed up answers. It's somewhere, I think it's right here. And you can shade it in or you can just cross it out. And then this one is a really kind of hard one. So this is the last one we're going to do. I'm going to see if you can try to do this one. So the number 20. 20 is kind of tough. But we need to do several of those because you need to understand those. So it says, how many students play the violin? There's 40 students at Valley High who play stringed instruments. 1/4 of them play the viola. 1/5 of them play the cello. And the rest play the violin. So again, the key words are 1/4 of the students. So 1/4 of the students, and I'm going to actually write it like that. So number 20 is 1/4 of the students. Play the what? Play the viola. And then it goes on to say 1/5 of the students play the cello. And our question, our final question is, how many students play the violin? So the viola and the violin are completely different. So let's go ahead and find this first. So how many students were there? There were 40. So I'm going to trade that little s for a 40. And I think that we can actually do this one mentally. Let's put a little time sign. 1 times 40 is 40, divided by 4. 40 divided by 4 is what? Yes, it is 10. Then again, 1/5 of the students, and this is a good problem to probably pause and go back on when we're all done. 1/5 of the students, and how many students there were out of the total. And this one also, we can go straight across. 1 times 40 is 40. 5 times 1 is 5. 40 divided by 5 is 8. So I'm going to draw a little picture and you tell me what we have to do next. So all together there are 40 students. 10 of them play the viola. I'm going to put a VA. 8 of them play the cello. The question is, how many play the violin? And what do you think you have to do? Well, if you said add these up and subtract, you were correct. So it's going to be 40 minus 10 and 8 is 18 play 2 of those instruments. So the difference is 22. So that's going to be at 22. Alrighty, and again, find that answer. So it was a little bit long today in 2 sections, but you've got 2 days to finish this, so pace yourself so you don't get behind. And again, find your answer. So you're going to be completing over the next 2 days C56, and it was long today because of the word problems, but the actual rest of the problems that you do aren't going to be that bad. And then you're going to do 11-2. You're going to finish all of that. Remember, you don't need to do the explain it. And then flip it over. And this one, again, you're going to do the cowboy. So I labeled it for A, for B, and for C, since they all go with video 4. And just don't forget, what special little friend was in our video today, because it will be on our next quiz. So you have a good couple of days, and I'll be back with you on Friday. Again, email me with any questions that you might have. Have a good day.